Listen to me. You need to stop overthinking. I know it's easier said than done. I've been there. I still do it, but I try to keep it under control. So you can do it too. And it's the worst when you're passing through a particular highly stressful situation or when you lay your head on that pillow. Everything starts going crazy in your mind. Imagine your mind as a web browser with different tabs open at the same time, each tab representing a thought, a task that you need to do, a concern that you have. Now imagine trying to navigate through your day with all these tabs in your mind, racing for your attention, screaming, competing for your attention. This is the essence of overthinking. It's like a mental maze where every thought leads to another question, another doubt, another scenario. What if? Leaving you exhausted, anxious, stressed out, short tempered. When you're often living in the past and the future, but never in the present, that's overthinking. Let me tell you this, dwelling on the past or obsessively thinking and being concerned over the future hinders your ability to focus on the present. We don't do in the past. We did in the past. We cannot change anything. What's in the future hasn't happened yet and is not in your hands. To a certain extent, you can't control it. You can only control the present. The present is in your hands. If you don't work in the present, if you're not focusing on the present, how are you going to have the future you want? Are you constantly second guessing yourself? Are you having difficulty, or do you have difficulty making decisions and making up your mind and then sticking to it? Do you keep replaying scenarios from the past and thinking, what if I said this? What if I didn't say that? What if I had said this differently? This will leave you with mental fatigue, to say the least. But let's just say it as it is. The impact of overthinking go way before mental fatigue. It could lead to depression. It could lead to heightened anxiety, brain fog, and a decline in your overall well-being. And believe me, all that will affect you physically. You're going to have bad sleep. You're not going to sleep well. And if you do sleep, you're going to wake up a million times thinking. And I know, and I'm sure you know, that everything seems and feels worse and exaggerated at night when you're in bed. You're going to have headaches, migraines, dizziness. You're going to be in a bad mood, to say the least, because of all these things, right? You're going to have a weak immune system. And I'm sure a lot of you know that stress does affect your hormones. And hormones control our body in so many different ways. Overthinking will impair your productivity. Yes, it's going to keep you in that vicious cycle of analysis paralysis because you can't make a decision because you want to research, and look more for more information. But you can't stop. You don't know when you've had enough because you're second guessing yourself, because you overthink everything. And so you can't even move forward. Perfectionists, this is for you. If you are an overthinker, like me, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that you can just get rid of it. It's like this is some virus that is going to pass and you'll get over it. No, but I will tell you that you can certainly manage it. You can try to minimize it. It won't be 100% all of the time. You're going to have ups and downs, but you can manage it. So how can you deal with overthinking to try to minimize it as much as possible? Well, you can practice mindfulness and prayer. I seek prayer whenever like I'm so stressed and I find myself dwelling on things. I pray. For me, that helps me a lot. Mindfulness is also a very good thing to do. Unfortunately, I can only do it in the summer when it's beautiful outside. When I'm in nature, when I'm outside, I'll smell my roses, my plants, the trees, the smell of nature. For me, this is mindfulness because it helps you live in the present because you're using your senses, your nose, your ear, hear the birds chirping, hear the sound of nature. Maybe if you're close to water, this will help you live in the moment because you're feeling the moment. You're not focused on your thoughts, but rather on your senses. So if you're outside in nature, take a moment, look around you, smell things, allow your sense of smell to be present. Admire and enjoy and appreciate the beauty around you. If you're indoors like me, stuck in the winter, enjoy that cup of coffee, that cup of tea or herbal tea or whatever it is that you do on daily basis as a part of your routine. Learn to take every moment and enjoy it. Be conscious of it. Live in that moment. Don't be sipping your coffee and then thinking of all the things you need to do today, or the problems that you need to solve for the next year. Appreciate every little thing that you have and be thankful. Seriously, be thankful for every little thing that you have and keep reminding yourself of this. Like I have to keep reminding myself to be thankful on daily basis, and sometimes even multiple times a day. It's going to make you feel better. I don't know how to explain it, but it will make you feel better because it's you reminding yourself. When we say our thoughts out loud, sometimes we grasp it more. But of course, that is not going to take away our problems. Therefore, at some point, we do have to face that certain issue or issues that we have going on in our life right now. So if you have multiple problems or one big problem, take it one step at a time. So tackle each problem by itself. Start off with the easiest to solve and then move on to the harder ones. And if you have a big problem, break it down into steps. This is what I need to do. It's kind of like making a plan. So off the top of my mind, I could think of hoarding. Let's say your house, you're a hoarder, and this is a major issue in your life, obviously. So you need to tackle that problem and you need to start on hoarding. You need to start of getting rid of all the things that you don't need, you don't use, or even worse, all the things that are not even functional, right? Have gone expired. If you look at it as the big thing, you look at your house and every single room is full of stuff and it's choking you. Just break it down. Take it one room at a time, one little corner at a time. Remove the big things first. Every time you remove a big thing, it's going to give you more space to move around the room and you'll see the smaller things. So you remove the big stuff from the room first and then you tackle the smaller stuff. You finish with one room, take a day, take 2 days, take a week, but don't, give yourself a time limit or else it might take longer than it should and you're going to get discouraged, overwhelmed, and give up. All right. So that's a very simple example about how you can attack your problems and try to solve them step by step, little by little, one little step at a time. Every problem that you solve is going to be one less thing to think about or to overthink about. Another thing you can do is engage in physical activity. It goes without saying that exercise not only helps you to lose weight or maintain your weight, but it also releases those endorphins that are going to put you in a better mood and therefore reduce your stress. Exercise will also keep you busy. So it acts as a distraction from your issues, your problems, or your overthinking. So exercise will also give you a physical boost. Your body is going to feel more energetic. Needless to say, exercise has unlimited benefits, honestly. I don't really exercise that regularly anymore. I used to, but I don't, unfortunately, due to many factors. But when I do those little, very, very little and very brief exercises at home, honestly, believe it or not, it makes me feel so much better physically, mentally, emotionally. Imagine if you do exercise on daily basis or 3 to 4 times a week. Set aside 30 minutes a day for that. Or if we even just go for a walk, going for a walk does wonders to your mental and to your body. Another thing you should do is to limit your information intake. In today's world, we're bombarded with so many sources of information. Really, there's an abundance of information with the internet, social media, and everything that's out there. We get an information overload, believe it or not. And at some point, you know, there was a song that, if you were around in the early 2000s, what are they called? Spice Girls. And there was a song that they have called Too Much of Something Is Not Good Enough. Too much is bad enough, something like that. When you have too much of something, you don't appreciate it anymore. You want to vomit it. So there's so much information out there. So I don't know about you, but for example, I love to watch the news, especially lately with so many things going on the past couple of years in the world. I watch the news every day or I read the news every day. And sometimes it takes a toll on me. Sometimes it gets me depressed, but I have my faith. So at the end of the day, I know that the Lord is always in control. No matter what happens in this world, He's still reigning. And that gives me comfort. So this is how I deal with it. But sometimes when I feel it gets to me a little bit too much, I don't watch the news or I don't read the news for a day or two. Another example of that is last year I used to do Instagram and TikTok. I used to do digital marketing, and there was tremendous information overload. You would hear so many tips from so many different people. Do this, sell that, don't sell that, don't do that, stop, change. The algorithm changed. Everyone has an opinion, right? Everyone has tips to give you. And you get so overwhelmed that you don't even know what's right or what's wrong, and then you want to try everything, and it becomes overwhelming. It becomes too much for one person, especially a beginner when you're trying to learn things from scratch, and you start with one thing and you stop. I actually discussed this in one of my videos recently. The video is called Shiny Object Syndrome, and I discussed how when I was doing digital marketing, there was always this other course, this course that's going to be your savior. This is it. This is the course that everyone is after. This is the course that's going to make you thousands. This is the course that's going to teach you everything you need to know in order to succeed online. And it became way too much at some point with that, to the point that I gave up. I left everything and I walked away because it was too fast paced for me, and it was a lot of hype. Honestly, that was not valid. That was not well deserved. I'm not saying the courses were bad, but there's not like that one thing that's a miracle or that is going to save all your problems, or everything requires a lot of work. And when the information is presented falsely, when you're given false promises, you get overwhelmed very easily or eventually, and then you get drained and depressed and you give up. Don't fall into that trap. So, if you are in an information overload, you gotta stop consuming or just decrease your consuming. I know it's impossible to stop consuming news or social media or whatever it is that you consume a lot of, but limit it. Give yourself a limit. If you feel that it's getting to you, if you feel that it's giving you brain fog or overwhelming you or confusing you because you're being pulled from so many different sides in so many different ways, just stop. Stop everything and take some time to think about everything, evaluate what you've actually learned. What are the contradictive things that you've learned? Set those aside, push those aside, and maybe press that restart button on yourself. After you stop for a while, you come back fresh. Believe me, that's what happened to me. That's why when I came back, I decided to go to YouTube, because YouTube is a platform where you get to express yourself without limitations. You can actually be yourself. You don't have to keep up with the trends all the time, like you have to in social media, because those are different platforms. They function differently. Another thing you could do if you are so much of an overthinker, try to go out, try to see friends, family, people that have positive influence on you or that put you in a good mood. That could be very helpful because, again, being out and being busy with other people will keep your mind off of things. You can't overthink when you're sitting with a person, socializing or having discussions with another person, a person that you can confide in, someone that you trust, where you could share your thoughts, and that person could give you maybe an insight from the outside, with more objectivity. And sometimes that's all it takes, a little insight that we read somewhere, or that we hear about somewhere, or that someone tells us, and it clicks, something clicks in our mind, and we say, why was I thinking about this so bad? It happened to me so many times. I'd be so worried about something, and I'd be like for a week at a time thinking about it and worrying, what am I going to do? What if this, what if that? Well, then someone will say something to me, or I'll read something somewhere, or I'll even pray or read the Bible, and I'll be like, why was I so worried about this? It's true, it doesn't have to be as bad as I'm thinking it. So that's another distraction that you could do that would interrupt that overthinking cycle. And this leads me to my next and final point. If all that doesn't work for you, consider seeking help, like a therapist. Oftentimes, if we do find the right therapist, they can be of great help. I know that costs a lot of money, and because it's a very long process, but depending on the issues you have, it could be a shorter term or a long term thing. But think about it. If you can afford it, by all means, go for it. It could help you a lot because therapists will teach you how to understand your thoughts, how to voice them, how to face them, how to deal with them. Oh, I forgot to mention, you could also journal. When I was younger, in my teenage and early 20s, even all throughout 20s, I used to love writing, journaling, whether it's on a piece of paper or in a dedicated book for that, or notebook for journaling. I love to write because I've always been an introvert. It wasn't always easy for me to voice my issues to others or share my problems with others or my deep feelings. So journaling will help you in many ways because, first of all, you're writing out your thoughts. You're not limiting your brain. You're not shaming yourself. No one is shaming you for expressing a certain thought or feeling. So you'll be the only one reading this, so you're free. You're just expressing yourself authentically and completely, all the way. So it's an outlet for your feelings and for your thoughts. Another thing journaling can do for you is that when you go back and read your thoughts, oftentimes you might laugh at yourself, or you might smile because you're going to see that, oh, look at how I was feeling in June of 2018, for example, and look where am I now a year later. That problem has evaporated, has been solved, and it's not present in my life anymore. So it feels good. It's like an affirmation for you for the future as well, to learn, that will help you learn that even if you have a problem today, you're not stuck with that problem forever. A year from now, or a week from now, or a few months from now, that problem is going to disappear. It's going to be solved. So if I solved that problem, then I can solve my other problems as well. Truth is, several factors can often contribute to overthinking, including perfectionism, fear of failure, and your past experiences in life, and maybe even your current experiences in life. But did you know that overthinking even affects your digestive system? Yeah, I've had that as well. I have a lot of digestive problems because overthinking leads to stress, right? And stress directly affects your nervous system, which then affects your digestive system. It's crazy, right? So remember, you're not actually eliminating your thoughts. You can't really completely stop overthinking, but you're actually learning how to manage them so that they don't control your life anymore. This is essential. This is Christy. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for watching all the way to the end, and double thank you for subscribing, for liking, for commenting. You're awesome. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you could relate to this video, if it resonates, if you have issues with overthinking, perfectionism, fear of failure, and all that lovely stuff, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to watch my other videos. I have a bunch of other videos about issues like that. So if you're an overthinker, leave a comment below. Let me know, what do you overthink the most? We all have like certain things that we tend to overthink of the most. Are you overthinking so much about your future? Or are you dwelling on things from the past, or certain events that are happening in your life right now? Let's learn and grow together, and I'll see you in the next one.